Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nia Symone, and today I will be doing a makeup tutorial, very highly requested and highly awaited. I should have been done this video, but we back. We ain't even gonna talk about it. So first I go in with primer. Before priming my face, I make sure my face is washed and moisturized. You can wash with whatever you usually wash with, but I use the Pond's dry skin cream to moisturize. And when I'm putting the primer on, I'm just making sure it's put all over my face. Every area of my face, even down to like my neck area, going onto my jawlines, everywhere, just making sure I have primer evenly distributed on my face so that my makeup can stick. I even make sure that I go in and add more. Where my tragus piercing is, I put it all around there. I make sure I meet it where my hairline is. I just make sure I put it everywhere that makeup is going to be. The e.l.f. primer is my favorite primer. It's actually one of the only primers that I've tried, and I feel like it just does the job. So next I go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I set my primer before I put the makeup on. A lot of people skip this step, and I skipped this step for a minute too, but it just helps your base be more flawless. So I set my face with the setting spray, and I let that sit for a second. I'm just moisturizing my lips with some Aquaphor so they're not dry. I don't like using lip gloss because it runs down your face and it messes up your base as far as the primer. Honestly, this video was very transparent because I use two hair products on my face. I use any edge control that I have at the moment. It's usually the gummy wax one though, and I use that for my eyebrows. When I'm doing my eyebrows, I just brush them into place. I don't fill my eyebrows in because I am blessed with naturally thick eyebrows. So I just get them threaded every like 2 months, I would say. Yeah, that's about it. Also, I meant to say, oh, this is going pretty fast. Okay. To clean up my eyebrows, I use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I use this only under my brows. I do not conceal the top of my brows because I feel like it's not needed, honestly. If you ever want to touch up the top of your brow, just use some foundation and trace the top of your brow. I don't really care for the concealer on the top as well. What I wanted to say is I dermaplane my face as well. I didn't add that into this video because this video is more about makeup than the prep. But I dermaplane my face with both bio oil and a regular dermaplaner, and I just do that to take all of the hair off of my face because I found that that also gives me a flawless base. When I am cleaning up the bottom of my brow, I just trace my natural arch and I just blend it out a little bit. I usually just blend it out with the concealer brush, and I put bronzer like on the inner corner of my eye because I like my brow bone to be defined, if that makes sense. Also, I only use 2 sets of brushes ever. I use the Real Techniques brushes. I'll put the name of them in the bio. And I use some random brush that I got from Amazon. Okay, you see me blending out all on my eyelid the concealer. I just blend it out. Doing this helps prevent creasing on your eyelids, so make sure you do that. Then I just go in the front of my brow and I just make sure that they're even because I'm a perfectionist a little bit, so I'll be trying to make sure it looks perfect. But at the end of the day, eyebrows are cousins, not sisters. So then I take my Born This Way concealer. A lot of people ask me about this. I take my Born This Way concealer and I'm doing my placement. The only reason why I'm not putting it on my inner corner is because for this video I did a bright under eye. However, if I'm not doing a bright under eye, the places where you see gaps or where you see the lighter concealer, that's where I put the regular concealer. I don't always do a bright under eye, but I always get a lot of questions about this style of makeup specifically, so I did it for this video. I put a little bit on the bridge of my nose and the middle of my forehead. I put it above my lip, and I put some on my chin as well. And then I go in with the brighter shade, and I just put a dot. That's all you need. Yes. So then I go in with my Fenty Beauty, my dirty Fenty Beauty contour stick, and I put that all around the perimeter of my face. I just put it on my forehead, my cheekbones, my jawline. I put it where my eyebrow meets my nose. And sometimes I put it on my upper lip, but I didn't do it in this video just because. Don't mind like the noise in the background. I live in a city and it's windy outside. Another thing that I always do is I put some on the outer corner of my eyelid because it just helps your face look more lifted and snatched once you blend everything out. So then I set again using the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. I let that dry down a little bit, and yeah. There's no specific amount of time that I let the concealer sit. I just let it sit until I'm done blending out my contour. So whenever I have residue, I never clean my brushes. Fun fact, transparency is key. I'm just going to be honest. I don't ever clean my brushes. I feel like dirty brushes give you a better look anyway because they're used as opposed to new and there's residue on there from the last time. However, do not take that advice because I'm not a licensed esthetician. So I go onto my forehead and I just blend all the way down to where I want my concealer to meet. Wherever I want my concealer to stop going up on my forehead, that's where I bring the bronzer down to, and I just blend that into my cheekbones. The most important thing about makeup, besides undertones and shade match, is blending. You can have all the right shades in the world. If you do not continue to blend until it all looks meshed together as one, it won't give that airbrush filter effect. So I just go in and I blend all the way up and down. I just blend. And then I go onto my jawline and I even pull my ear back to make sure it looks, I'm just getting all the way where it needs to be. Like when I said put primer everywhere, you can put some right there on your ear, like I said. And I blend that all the way around my face. At the bottom, you'll see I lift my head up and I go all the way. I meet my chin to my jawline and I blend that all the way around. And I just keep blending. If you ever want to take away some contour, just with the brush that you have, just wipe some on a paper towel. That's what I did actually. You can see in the beginning before I started blending, I just patted it on a paper towel to get the residue off. So you can do that. Then I go into my nose bridge. I'm not sure if that's what that's called, but where I'm right now, what I'm doing, I take that and I just bring it down. I like the natural shape of my nose, so I just do the bridge. I don't go all the way down in a straight line. Then you can see I'm blending out the bronzer that I put onto my eyelids. I just bring it out some and then I just fill the rest of my eyelid with that. Then I go in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I do not use foundation, as you can see, as my initial base. I only use foundation under my cheekbones so that it can be blended seamlessly from my cheekbone to my jawline. So I'm just wiping off the residue on the brush there. This brush is filthy. Obviously I need some more. I take some and I just put it all where I didn't put any foundation. Where I didn't put any concealer or bronzer, that's where I put the foundation and I just blend that out. I never tried any other foundation besides the Maybelline, and it's my perfect match, so I haven't tried anything else. I would say it's pretty good coverage though when I was using it as the initial base, but since I don't use as much foundation as anything else, I just kind of stick to what I know. That's all I do. Anything that I used, I've been using from the beginning. So then for the concealer, I start blending from the outside. I start blending from the perimeter. I go around my whole face, even on my forehead. I start from the outside and then I work my way to the center where my eyebrows are apart. I blend it out, blend. My favorite things to use to blend is a brush and a powder puff. You'll see after I'm done blending with the brush, you always should go in with a powder puff, not only because it gives you a nice blend, but since it is a sponge, essentially, it soaks up any excess product that you have before setting. When you set with a face that is built up with product, that can cause creasing, and it won't set properly because there is so many layers of concealer underneath, if that makes sense. Then I add some foundation to my nose where I didn't put any contour, just where my nostrils are. I just add foundation right there. And let this be a reminder to never forget to clean off your face jewelry. If you have any face jewelry, make sure you clean it off before you leave the house. I often forget to do that, and I be irritated. So make sure you just take a second, get you some salt water or just regular water, and just take a Q-tip and clean your jewelry off. So then I'm taking my powder puff, and I'm going in and I'm blending that concealer into the bronzer. Repeatedly just patting, making sure it's all blended out. And on my forehead, you see that I put my head back a little bit. Honestly, this is what helps me the most with flashback. When you have your head just sitting straight, you can't necessarily tell that you have like a circle on your head, if that makes sense. So I put my head back because it helps you see that divide between the bronzer and the concealer. So still, I'm just doing this. I go in with my brush to define that line that I was talking about that I made with the bronzer, and it just gives your face a more snatched look. So then I go back in with my bronzer brush after I do that to make sure it's blended, and I had to add a little bit more because I brought the concealer up. I don't take my concealer anywhere past my eyebrow. I just keep it. I keep all my concealer in the center of my face. If you bring it up, that's fine, but I just personally don't. I just like the bronzer to be on my temples. So still patting and blending and blending and patting. The most time spent is on blending. So then I go in, same brush. I don't use a different brush for the bright under eye. I go in and I only blend it in the inner corner of my eye. I only like the inner corner of my eye to be brighter because it just looks better to me, as opposed to dragging it all the way out and having a full, like, I just feel like my face would just look too contrasted. So I only like my bright under eye to remain in the inner corner of my eyes. And then I go up the bridge of my nose, as you'll see in a second, and I trace where I put that contour so I can blend it into my eyelid, if that makes sense. I take the brush, I slide up the bridge of my nose, and I make sure it's blended. And then I go in with the powder puff after that as well. Another tip or trick, if your eyes are watering and you don't want to mess your makeup up, obviously, you can take a Q-tip, put it on the inner corner of your eye, and tilt your head to whichever side you want to, and the Q-tip will absorb it, and it won't mess your makeup up by dripping down your face. So then I go in with the same powder puff, and I just blend all of that out. I blend my eyelids, I blend my inner eye, I blend my outer corner, I blend the bottom of the top of my lip, and then, yeah. So this is another crucial step. So for setting your under eye, I don't know if you saw what I just did, but you want to dip your powder puff in the setting powder. You want to blow it, and then you want to pat the excess onto your hand. You want to set your under eye before you bake it. If you straight start baking your under eye, it will be cakey and you will have creases. So you want to first set your under eye by doing what I just did. Take the powder puff, dip it into the setting powder, blow it, pat it onto your hand, and you set it that way. And then after you set it about maybe like 2 or 3 times, then you can go in and start baking. I only bake my under eye for the most part because that's where I want the brightness to be. I set my concealer on my forehead, my chin, and my upper lip, but I really only bake my under eye. I use the Huda Beauty loose setting powder in the shade Blondie to bake, and then I use the Mary Kay translucent powder for my inner corner. I actually got it from my nana, so I will put her Mary Kay information in the description box, but you can use any translucent powder, honestly. But the Huda Beauty I like it a lot. So then I go in with my powder contour, and I go over top of what I did with the Fenty. So another crucial step for your makeup is making sure that you layer any cream products with powder products. So in this video, I didn't put any blush on because I've been feeling the no blush look lately. It just gives like a more snatched look to me, and I like that. However, when I do use the blush, I put cream blush on first and then I layer it with the powder blush. It just makes your makeup give more three-dimensional. Like, it just gives an extra layer of product. So I don't know. So then I go in again and carve out my eyebrows because I just put bronzer on my eyelids, and I told y'all I like my brow bone to be very defined. So I just go in one more time with one more layer of concealer, NARS concealer, and I'm gonna blend that out as I would do my under eye with the powder puff, and then I use bronzer as my eyeshadow. I'm not gonna lie, I have never bought an eyeshadow palette ever in my life. I've only ever put bronzer on my eyelids. So I use the Juvia's Place. The shade is Deep Dark. That's the darkest shade that they have. And I use that on my eyelids. Also, I meant to mention, when I'm doing my powder bronzer, I mix both of the shades because I feel like neither one is the perfect match, but both of them mixed are my perfect match. So then I go in and I'm removing my baking powder, but I don't swipe. I pat it into my face. And then I take the brush and I remove the excess off onto my hand. I swipe it on my hand, but I don't swipe it on my face. I'm kind of against swiping when it comes to makeup, besides when I'm defining my concealer, where the concealer and the bronzer meet where my eyelid is. It's just, I don't know, I feel like patting it into your face is better than swiping. It just gives a more seamless look. I don't know, these are just my opinions. If you do something different and it works for you, then cool, but I just pat it into my face as opposed to swiping. I do that everywhere: my nose, bridge, under my eyes, the top of my lip, everything. And I know you can see how my face is now a little bit glossy and a little bit matte. So to fix that, I'll show you what I do. But I go back in after I've done that, and I go over where my powder bronzer is. I wipe off the Aquaphor that is on my lips because I'm about to make the rest of my face matte, so I don't need anything glossy on my face. I do the same technique that I use for my setting powder with the translucent powder, with the powder puff, and I just put it everywhere where I feel like it's glossy. I usually just do it to my whole face, as you can see. I do it everywhere. And then I blend out that contour that's on my nose. Another hack that I have is turning your head to the side to see if you have a harsh line. As you can see just now, when I turn to the side, you can't see that harsh line anywhere but the front of your nose. You kind of, also when you're placing it, you want to put it on top of your nose as opposed to the side. That also eliminates that harsh line going down your nose or whatever. To do your makeup, you just have to move your face around. You have to look from all angles, or you won't really know. You only know how your makeup looks straight if you only look straight. But if you are moving your face around, you can see all the different angles and dimensions. Then I go in and I set my brow bone with just some translucent powder. Same technique as always. I go back and I reshape my eyebrows because I wasn't hitting them a lot, but I just like to do this because they're not the same eyebrows I started the video with. I just go in and reshape those. I didn't put any more product on the brush though. I used what was left from the first time. Then I line my lips. I'm not gonna lie, I stopped buying expensive lip products because I lose all of them. I don't lose any other makeup besides lip products. So everything that I use for my lips, you can find anywhere. I use anything random. My holy grail lip gloss is the NYX Butter Gloss Fortune Cookie. That shade, I use that. Like, I'll keep repeatedly buying that, and it's only $5. However, I bought so many different lip liners and lip glosses and all of that I wanted to really try, and I really liked them, but I lose them, and I'm not going to keep spending that much money on lip products for me to lose it every time I go out. So I like to line my lips with 2 different shades. I like the darker one to be on the outside and the browner one to be like on the inside. Another trick that I have is setting my lip liner for the initial application, and then I apply some more after I set it. This just helps it last longer. I get a lot of questions about my mascara. The only mascara that I use for the most part is the one that I just showed, the Lash Essence False Lash Effect mascara. That is my holy grail. I've never used any other mascara besides Mary Kay, and I used that one in this video. But I layer my mascara. I put, honestly, probably about like 4 layers of mascara on, because I just really need my eyes to pop. I don't get lash extensions anymore, and my eyelashes are pretty long, so this mascara really helps define that. Yeah, I'm just going in and I'm putting the mascara on. I make sure I get every single little lash, because I need that. I only forgot to put mascara on one time, and I was pretty upset about that because I felt like my face looked naked. But that's besides the point. This is definitely a good mascara, though. And even when I was wearing lash extensions, don't forget to put mascara on your bottom lashes. It makes your eyes pop so much more, and so does eyeliner in your waterline. I did that as well in this video. Putting black in your waterline really makes your eyes pop as well. The bottom lash, if you have lash extensions or whatever, plus bottom mascara, and you have black in your waterline, it just gives a really, not even grungy, but it just makes your eyes pop for the most part. I'm going in with a second layer of mascara. I think I only put maybe like 2 or 3. I can't remember. We'll see when it pops up. But I put my head back so I can see all of my top lashes. The bottom lashes be prominent so I can see those. Also, when you have lash extensions and you are doing your lashes, don't forget to put them on the bottom, because when you put concealer on your lashes, they look blonde. So if you don't go in again with a black, let's just think of it as hair dye, your lashes will look blonde as opposed to black. So that's another reason. I was putting, even when I was getting false bottom lashes, I was putting mascara on them, and I would just clean them after I washed the makeup off my face. So then I take this Mary Kay mascara and I just go towards my inner and the outer corners because of the applicator. The false lash effect applicator doesn't really, it gives me the leverage to do so, but it's not as easy. So I go in with this one, specifically on my inner and outer corner to define those lashes. In this video, I only did 3 layers of mascara, and you can see they're really defined. So then I go in my waterline and I just put some black eyeliner. Don't forget the tip that I told you. Always have some Q-tips like at your disposal when you're doing your makeup, because you never know if your eyes are going to tear. 9 times out of 10 they will, especially at this step. And just use the trick that I told you. Put it in the inner corner. Actually, don't put it on the outer corner. I say either one, but put it on your inner corner. Lean your head to each side, and it'll, yeah, the Q-tip will absorb your tears. So this is some Milani lip plumping lip gloss that I got from CVS, I think, and I really like it, actually. Then I go on top of that with the NYX butter gloss, and I blot my lips together. This Too Faced clear lip, well, it's not even clear. I think this is the shade Bubblegum or something like that. I'm holding on to it for dear life. This is the only semi-expensive lip gloss that I've used that I haven't lost. Then I just go in with a regular clear gloss because I don't have a lot of the lip plumper left. I need to get some more, but who knows when that's going to happen. I just put regular clear gloss on top, and then I set my face with the Charlotte Tilbury again. I will say the Charlotte Tilbury, it is a bit pricey. However, it does last me a little bit. Well, it depends on how much you do your makeup, but I really like it because it really melts your makeup together. Like, I don't think I've ever used a setting spray that melts my makeup together like that. And then after I spray each setting spray, I go in with my powder puff, like a clean one, no powder on it, and I just blend my makeup together. I just pat my whole face and I'm just setting it with the powder puff. Like I'm patting the setting spray into my makeup, if that makes sense. And then I use hairspray. Yes, y'all, I use hairspray as my final topping coat. The one size one does do wonders, but it doesn't last long enough for me. But we are at the conclusion of this video. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, that's my makeup tutorial for my bright under eye, my makeup look that I always do. It takes me probably about a little over an hour to do this look. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you're new here, subscribe if you're not new. Thank you for coming back, and I will see y'all in my next video.
This one I bet you me, I no get time, Dada cover my face, calling me Biggie man, we do what's it going? G-Wagon, all depending. The girl them, ride the whip. I know it, die for nothing. What's it going? G-Wagon, all depending. The girl them, ride the whip. I know it, die for nothing. Make you no say anything when you do, they must commend it. So anything when they do, I they try to do, I'm the way. Plenty, so far, baby face. Just to make your money, yeah. But my people then go say, I don't want buy, I don't want die, I don't want payment, I want enjoy, I want chop life, I want buy motor, I want build house, I still want to know. Let me tell you, what's it called? G-Wagon, all the Bentley, the girl them, ride the whip, I know it, die for nothing. What's it called? G-Wagon. All depending, the girl them, ride the whip. I know it. Different things them happening, schemes and packaging. In a one night for shows, I'm juggling. Flow like the ocean, port I'm paddling. Sharashina fella, that's my bro, my family. Frozen dreams. When it comes to money, I they concentrate. Like I tell you straight, you are not my mate. If you become a chef, I'll be head of state. But my people then go say, I don't want buy, I don't want die, I don't want payment, I want enjoy, I want job life, I want buy motor, I want build house, I still want to know. What's it going? G-Wagon, all depending, the girl them, ride the whip, I know.
Thank you.